Excuse me, pardon me. After you've been a while, you just simply need to fill those lungs after a number of series of contest announcements, and then moving directly into what I consider to be the highlight of the show. Because in my dotage, my later years, Terry, I do expect you to remember the good times that we had. and be very generous. It's
going to be so difficult.
My daughter, Terri McMahon. Boy, it's been a long time since we've done one of these together, isn't it?
Yeah.
I want to tell you, I have mentioned you and your career many, many times on the show. And the fact that you're a working actress, and I put the emphasis on the working with such enthusiasm. But you've really been on the stage since you graduated from USC, and that in itself is kind of unusual in that business. It can be tough.
Yeah.
When you talk about a career like yours, though, do you find that it's something that you would recommend to parents of kids who aspire to be an actor, that they settle into a place like the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, like you and your husband did?
Yeah. I mean, we were so lucky to be in a regional theater, that one of the few regional theaters that had an ongoing rep in a 9-month performance season. One of the only theaters in the world that has not a sequential rep where a show opens one at a time, but you've got 3 theaters with 8 to 9 plays playing at once. Since
1935, I think.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's grown to that, to the 3 theaters, but yeah. Since 1935.
Okay, but you were talking about being in regional theater as a professional actress, married to a professional actor, in spite of the fact that as a child, we did mention to you in your sleep, hedge fund manager, neurosurgeon. You paid no attention, and you married an actor.
I did.
And we love him dearly.
Yeah.
But you said regional theater, and a lot of people think, well, I'm really not a success unless I'm in the movies, in Hollywood, or on Broadway in New York. Respond to that.
I think it's whatever is your bliss. I mean, I love the classics, so I got to do a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of contemporary classics, and also belonged to a theater that did a lot of new work, and new work that even went to New York. So I was in original casts, but then when they went to New York, they got New York actors. And I never minded that. I loved it. I love being able to stay at home, raise a family, be in this amazing theater scene year after year. I was just lucky. You never knew.
In that original play, by the way, that I saw in Oregon about the early times of LBJ in the White House, All the Way?
All the Way.
Yeah. That went on to win all the awards on Broadway, and you were Lady Bird in the original production.
I was, yeah.
God, does that age me? The father of Lady Bird Johnson. I can't believe it. I've really enjoyed watching you as a fan, but I've often wondered, as somebody who has never done Shakespeare in his life, if that's the hardest thing for you as an actress to do.
It is. I think it is the hardest thing. I think the arc of thought, I think the rich language, I think after you do Shakespeare and you come back to anything else, it's just easier. You know, you've done something that's required discipline and rigor and a kind of full-bodied experience and full brain and heart experience that's just different than contemporary work. So yeah, I would agree. It's a workout, and then you come back and you do other work, and it just seems easier, more tangible.
See, unlike your work, where you walk out on the stage and that's it. For the rest of the show, there's nobody actually giving you cues. I'm being told, because they're really fed up with me already, to turn it over to you to ask me a question.
Yes, I would love to ask you a question. I would love to ask you a question, and I.
It doesn't have anything to do with when you were in grade school.
No.
And I got angry.
No, because that never happened. You know, I've watched you my whole life interview people, and do it expertly and have a great time, and you have enormous curiosity, and I was just wondering if there's a favorite interview that you've ever had and what reason it would be.
Well, the reason is wrapped up in the name of that celebrated person, because I know right away, in this business, you get a chance to talk to hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people, but the most memorable guest I have ever had in conversation was Mother Teresa.
Yeah.
And the reason, of course, is just simply wrapped up in, wait a minute, you talked to Mother Teresa?
Yeah. And was there a question that you asked? Was there a response that she had? Was it the place that you were in? What was it?
This conversation is going so swimmingly. I'm thinking I should remind you, this is the first time we've ever talked about this, and I'm so glad you asked about that, because I don't remember who I talked to yesterday. I'm terribly sorry if they're watching, but I said, as a broadcaster, I have people who are now listening and watching and saying, what do you want? What do you want from me? And Mother Teresa was opening a convent here, so I thought it had something to do with, send me a crock pot. You know, anything for the kitchen,
yeah.
Maybe a little linoleum. No, she said, word for word, and I remember this from years ago, she said, I would ask your audience to go out and find somebody and love them. Whoa. Hey, that's how I feel about you and my daughter.